Here are 5 books that I recommend to everyone. Even without knowing much about your personal preferences in books, I'm pretty confident with these 5 recommendations. Now, is any book loved by everyone? No, of course not. So there'll be some misses, but these 5 books I find myself constantly recommending over and over again when I first meet someone looking for a direction in books. Before we jump into this list, hi, my name is Nicole, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. This is the first video I've posted to my channel, so we're all new here, myself included. I've been sharing my love of reading and book recommendations on TikTok for almost half a year now, and I decided to make the jump over here to YouTube for some longer format videos. I figured what better way to start out than with the book recommendations that I'm seriously a broken record about. If you do follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you already know all about these books because I don't shut up about them. First up is The Heart's Invisible Furies. I absolutely love this one. It is the saga of one man's life. It follows him pretty much through his entire life and takes place mostly in post-war Ireland. It's about his relationships with family, friends, about his struggles with identity, and it is a book that will make you feel all the wide range of emotions. It manages to be both so heartwarming and at times so heartbreaking. You will laugh, you will cry, and you will absolutely fall in love with the relationships the characters have with each other. Oh my gosh, the dialogue between some of the characters is just so good. The writing is on point, and while I will say it's a slow burn at times, it is just a fantastic book. It is one you will not soon forget. 10 out of 10 recommend. The next book that I never shut up about is We Begin at the End. This is a thriller, but I don't know, I don't really think of it as a thriller, but something bad happens to a group of friends in a small community, and then it picks up with that same group of friends about 30 years later. It's a page turner. There is a lot happening, but it has so much more depth beyond the plot. You really get invested in the characters and their relationships with each other, and it paints a portrait of this small community. I absolutely loved it. A couple of the characters I swear I still think about today, and the ending, I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to spoil a thing. I really think you'll love this one. Go read it. The next book I recommend all the time is a historical fiction recommendation, The Nickel Boys. There is a reason this one won the Pulitzer Prize. It's fantastic. It's based off of a real boys' reform school in Florida and takes place during the civil rights movement. And it follows a boy who is sent to this horrific reform school and a friend that he meets while there. It's a powerful story that will really stay with you. And Colson Whitehead is just a phenomenal writer. So 10 out of 10 recommend. The next book I recommend to everyone is The Great Believers. Now this one is a little bit more of a slow burn at the start. So if you're having trouble getting into it, stick with it, trust me. It follows a group of friends living in Chicago in the 80s during the AIDS epidemic, so as you can probably guess from that description, things get emotional. And it has a dual timeline, so it goes back and forth between the 80s and present day. Now, like I said, the start of the book, it's a little slower, and I will say at first I wasn't very invested in the present day storyline. I just wanted to stay in the 80s, but trust me, the way everything comes together at the end, it is so impactful, such a wonderful book. And the final book that I recommend on repeat, I'm a broken record about it, is The Great Alone. No one makes me cry like Kristin Hannah. So in this book, a father comes home from the war and decides to move his family to Alaska to homestead. And it's both the best and the worst decision ever. This one is a total emotional roller coaster and one that gave me a total book hangover. Like I finished this book and I just needed to sit in silence for a little bit. I couldn't even think about starting to read another book for almost a whole week after I finished this one, which is long for me. Usually I finish a book and then I right away take the next one off my shelf. But I just had to sit with this one. It manages to both break your heart and make you really want to move to Alaska, at least in the summertime. But I finished this book and instantly on my bucket list, I put travel to Alaska in the summer. I've read 3 Kristin Hannah books so far, The Great Alone, Firefly Lane, and The Nightingale. I liked all of them, but this was by far my favorite, and it's a book that I just find myself constantly recommending to anyone and everyone who will listen. So that's it. If you've read any of these 5 books, let me know in the comments what you thought about them, and if you haven't read these, add them to your TBR list right now.